A very good morning to everyone. We have more than 37 participants who has joined us today for this session, and we can go ahead with the session. So, very good morning to Vinod sir and to all the dear participants. As all of you know that National Institute of Social Defense is the nodal training and research institute in the field of social defense. Though social defense covers the entire gamut of activities and program for the protection of society. It is currently focusing on the human resource development in the areas of drug abuse prevention, care of senior citizens, other social defense issues like beggary prevention and transgender issues. NISD has recently launched an online learning management platform Tapas and is offering 5 self-paced online certificate courses in the key areas of social defense. There is also an elder helpline number 14567. We have started with the online webinar series for the welfare of our senior citizens, and today's topic of our discussion is dementia care. And the resource person for today's session is Dr. Vinod Kumar. Sir is President Emeritus Alzheimer and Related Disorders Society of India. He received Lifetime Achievement Award from All India Institute of Medical Sciences 2021, Master's Teacher Award from Indian College of Physicians 2021, Lifetime Achievement Award in Aging from Government of India, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Vayoshrestha Samman Award 2011, Lifetime Achievement Award from Janseva Foundation 2019, Lifetime Achievement Award from Indian Aging Congress 2004, Pattern Research Society for Study of Diabetes in India, over 9,000 membership. He was formerly Professor of Medicine and Head Geriatric Clinic, AIIMS, New Delhi. He is also Professor and Head of Endocrinology Department, PGI, Chandigarh. Member of WHO Expert Advisory Panel on Aging and Health for more than 10 years. He is also a member of Core Group for Senior Citizens, National Human Rights Commission of India for 8 years. He is also member of National Council for Older Person 1999 to 2004, and he was also a member State Council for Senior Citizen 2010-2012. So it is a pleasure as well as an honor to welcome Sir amongst us, and a very warm welcome to all the participants who has joined us today. Sir, we have more than 55 participants who has joined this session, sir. And these participants from all over India, they have joined us. And I would request everyone to please switch on your cameras so that we can have more interactive session also. And I'll be sharing a registration form, so kindly go ahead and register yourself for this session. We'll be sharing a feedback form also in the chat box. Kindly give your feedback to us, and if you have any question at the end, we can go ahead with the interactive session with our Dr. Vinod Kumar sir. So welcome sir, you please go ahead with your session sir.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes sir, we are able to hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Asha Madam Ji, for your nice words of introduction. I am particularly delighted to share my views on a subject of dementia care, which is close to my heart. And before I start my presentation, I would like to share the screen. Can you see my slide?
Yes sir.
Okay, I will put them on slideshow now. Okay, we are all set. So today what I would be doing, I would be talking about comprehensive care of dementia, of people living with dementia, and I would be talking about its features, diagnosis, prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation, etc. I would try to cover these in a period of about 1 hour, and then I would like to be engaged in question answer sessions with all the esteemed participants. The first thing that I would like to emphasize is what is cognition and what is cognitive impairment. Cognition includes certain mental functions like memory, attention, language, and it is through the language that we communicate either by speaking or by gesturing or by understanding what the other person is saying. Then about gnosis, which means recognizing the objects, the places, and the persons. And praxis means we are doing tasking, completing a skill, and executive functions, which include making decisions, problem solving, and visual spatial, etc. With regard to this cognition, there are three overlapping terms which I would like to clarify right in the beginning. One is age-related cognitive decline. This is very much a part of normal aging process, and many people who become elderly, even if they are active elderly, they may have some kind of decline in their cognitive powers, but this may remain stable for years. This is quite normal. This is not a dementia patient. Second is mild cognitive impairment. It is a pathological abnormality. It is a minor neurocognitive disorder, and it is considered to be a stage between normal elderly people or people who have only age-related cognitive decline and those people who come to develop dementia. This stage of MCI, mild cognitive impairment, may or may not pass to dementia, and even it may sometimes may revert back to normality if someone observes proper lifestyle and habits. The third step or the third overlapping term is frank dementia. It is a major neurocognitive disorder. It is normally irreversible condition. It is an untreatable condition, and it relentlessly progresses and finally results in death. Therefore, dementia care is there a huge challenge. Dementia, by definition, is an acquired syndrome. It is characterized by short-term memory impairment and at least one of the following abnormalities. First is aphasia, that is language impairment I alluded to in the first picture. Apraxia means motor memory impairment because they are not able to complete a task skillfully and rationally. Agnosia means sensory memory impairment again. This is inability to recognize person, places, or objects. And finally, abstract thinking, which I had covered under executive functions. Then, in addition to this, a patient of dementia may have impairment in social behavior, in social and occupational functioning in day-to-day life, and this group of symptoms is not explainable by any other disorder, and in spite of all this, the person is conscious. Person's consciousness is well maintained. So how does dementia manifest? Dementia is a disease generally of old age, and it is because of damage or death of brain cells, which are called neurons. As I said, there are problems of memory, communication, understanding, thinking, judgment, decision making, etc. All this leads to frustration, anger, depression, and personality changes in this patient. They finally become dependent on others for personal hygiene, eating, and even basic activities of their daily living. And as I said earlier, this disease is a slowly progressive, irreversible, and has no cure and finally results in death. Why is it an emerging epidemic of a great concern to the mankind? It is already a pandemic in the West where the life expectancy is quite high. Worldwide, one new person with dementia, which is in brief called PWD, every 3 seconds he is diagnosed in the world. Globally, in 2017, there were 50 million PWDs. In 2030, it became 82, and in 2050, it is expected to become a whooping 152 million population. In our country, there are 5 million people with dementia at present. They will become 7.5 million in 2030, and they will further rise to a population of 15 million in the year 2050. So it is going to be a great problem to mankind all over the world, including our country. Speaking from the individual age point of view, the prevalence of dementia is about 2% the age of 70. At the age of 65, it doubles every 5 years, becoming 5% at the age of 70, 10% at the age of 80, 20% at the age of 85, and 40% at the age of 90. So it is really an emerging epidemic. How to recognize dementia by the family member to begin with? There are three kinds of features: C, B, and A: cognitive decline, behavior problems, and activities of daily living. Cognitive decline means you find your elderly person living with you becoming more and more forgetfulness. He often misplaces objects. He has difficulty in recollecting phone numbers of friends and persons. He is having difficulty recognizing persons, objects, and placing. Remains confused about the time of the day, the date of that day, and about his thinking power, making any judgment, or making any decision. With regard to the behavior problems, you might notice in such an individual that he talks about something repetitively, and he sometimes expresses frustration, sometimes to the extent of agitation, and at other times he may be depressed, but he may be shouting sometimes. His sleep rhythm is reversed, and sometimes he goes out of the house and wanders about and losing his way back to his house. And with regard to his basic activities of daily living, he needs help, gradually increasing help. I'm sorry, for his personal hygiene, for breathing, for dressing up, for even eating and toileting, etc. And I mind you, these above features that I have listed, they are not listed according to the progressive stages of dementia. These are the stages of dementia. On the left side, various features which slowly become progressive from mild stage to moderate stage to a severe stage. The memory impairment is an important feature, then becomes long-term also impairment, and then advanced. Attention and concentration gradually becomes lost over the stages. Finding words and names which may only be difficult sometimes in the early stages, but become more persistent, and finally they are absolutely unable to find words and names. Recognizing close relatives is okay in the mild stage, they can do that, but increasingly becomes difficult and become completely unable to recognize even your own spouse. Passiveness and judgment also goes on, increasing from mild to severe stage. They are confused about the orientation of time and date, then places, and because of that they wander about and they are lost in the way, and this all becomes very severe. Communication difficulty, functional dependence, mood and personal changes, and features like anger, paranoia, delusion, and disinhibition, they are practically absent in the mild stage, but in the moderate stage they become of great severity, and in the severe late stage they become very significant and disturb the entire personality of the person. This is the gross picture of a brain of a healthy person on the left side, and a gross picture of the Alzheimer's disease brain on the right side. You will find that the right side, the brain of the Alzheimer, is of reduced size, it is irregular in size, it is puckered in shape. This is what happens when you see on gross. But what is happening inside? The brain. The brain, as I said, has brain cells called neurons. On the left side, they are clear-cut neurons, but in Alzheimer's brain, the neurons are invaded inside their boundaries by some shapes called neurofibrillary tingles, and the spaces between the neurons where the nerve endings and transmitting channels are present, these are invaded by another abnormal shape called amyloid plaques. So these are the two important changes in the brain: neurofibrillary tangles and amyloid plaques, and these are characteristic features of Alzheimer's dementia. I cannot change. Now do I do?
सर आपकी वॉइस नहीं आ रही है।
नहीं, वॉइस तो ये मेरी स्लाइड जो चेंज नहीं हो रही है। अब आ रही है वॉइस मेरी?
हाँ
हाँ
सर।
सर, आ रही है आवाज।
हाँ, लेकिन स्लाइड चेंज नहीं हो रही है। वो ऐसा तो मैंने अलाउ कर दिया, उसके बाद से स्लाइड नहीं हिल रही है। Types of dementia other than Alzheimer's disease, but Alzheimer's disease is the commonest type of dementia. It is a gradually onset dementia. The memory impairment is an early feature, and there are deposits of plaques and tangles, which I showed you in earlier figure. It has rapid onset. It is emerges after a stroke. It shows a stepwise progression. The third type is Lewy body dementia, with memory that there are fluctuating features of various symptoms of dementia, and it is accompanied by visual health. Some features which are particularly sensitive to antipsychotic drugs have to be prescribed with great attention. And this deposits of synuclein, not plaques and tangles, but synuclein is the main deposit, because the Lewy bodies are made of synuclein. Treatment of Alzheimer's disease in the form of cholesterol cholinesterase inhibitors, CHIs. They are frontotemporal dementia, which is also called Pick's disease, a late feature, but the prominent cause of in personality and the inhibitors are less useful. And there are a host of other neurological diseases like the first four in the end, they account for 90% of them. Now, look at to identify are the people at risk of getting dementia. The strongest is the increasing old. Do not carry out any physical activity. And high cholesterol, or those who had a low early education, that is illiteracy in the early stages of life, who had late onset depression for a long time, they are not mixing with friends, they have no social interaction. People who smoke and those who take alcohol, people sometimes it runs in families. So genetic family also role in dementia. A 5 to 10% of dementias who are treatable and reversible. We are not talking about these reversible dementia. Now, is my voice okay now?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes,
Is my voice okay?
yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the causes of reversible or treatable dementia. We are not talking about this dementia. We are mainly talking of the major variety of irreversible dementia. But I have just listed certain causes which are due to hormonal causes, some neurological causes, metabolic causes. I'm not going to name all of them, but I think you may remember the thyroid deficiency, vitamin B12 deficiency, chronic liver disease, kidney disease, and etc. They may cause dementia which can be treated and can be reversed. Now, I think a very important part is that how do we recognize that in our family, our elder member of the family is just forgetting like any other elderly individual, or he's heading towards mild dementia and later it may increase to moderate or severe dementia. So this table shows the differences between normal aging individual and a patient of dementia. Normal aging individual does all activities of daily living by himself unless he is too weak or disabled. He can eat himself, he can bathe himself, he can go to the toilet by himself. But a dementia patient, despite having strength, they have difficulties in activities of daily living and need help of a caregiver or a family member. Then normal aging individual has no difficulty in communicating, will not keep asking a question repeatedly, and he will not wander around and lose his way. But this is not happening in a dementia patient. He may come repeatedly ask the same question and he may wander away. On misplacing an object, a normal person will know that he has misplaced some object and will try to search for it. But a demented patient will not even remember what object he had misplaced, may not even remember that he had forgotten something. A normal person recognizes a friend meeting after a long time but may not remember his name for some time. But a demented patient may not even recognize his close friend, relative, or even loved and dear ones. Again, a normal aging individual may have difficulty in recollecting the day or date on a given day. When we are on leave all the time, we may have difficulty in recollecting कि आज क्या दिन है, आज क्या तारीख है. But a demented patient may have difficulty in even finding out whether it is morning, noon, evening, or afternoon, or in the night. A normal individual may not remember a street if he is visiting there after a long time. But a demented patient may even forget his way to his own bedroom or bathroom in his own house. A normal individual may forget to collect the balance money from a shopkeeper, but a demented patient repeatedly is unable to carry out proper calculation while shopping. And finally, a normal aging individual knows how to behave socially in gathering. He observes social etiquette. But a demented patient may perform socially unacceptable acts which are which are very embarrassing to the people around him. In addition, a demented patient may be unable to properly wear his clothes. He might put his right leg in the left pant piece, or difficulty in wearing a woolen. He may wear a woolen during even summer. He doesn't know it is summer. He may not be knowing what a toothbrush or a telephone is meant for. He may be placing a cup of tea in the fridge instead of a wash basin. He may fail to distinguish between a current and reddish, which are of different colors. So, what are the diagnostic approach of such a enormous and usually embarrassing disease? Obtained both from the patient if he is in a position to give the history, as well as from an informant if the patient is not cooperative or not able to give a cohesive history. There are many screening tests to begin with. I am not going to detail three-word recall test, clock drawing test, MSE, then Montreal Cognitive central nervous system in to find out. And there are criteria again available, further criteria for diagnostic, neuro, CT scan, MRI, and now there are functional imaging tests which are being used for diagnosis of Alzheimer and migraine, which in cerebrospinal fluid examination, which can be taken from the back. And then I will now come to the prevention and control of dementia. This I have divided into non-pharmacological management and pharmacological management. First, I will deal with non-pharmacological management. They are not only useful for preventing early dementia, they are also useful for normal elderly population who want to remain active and prevent dementia as they age further. They are people who have already started mild cognitive impairment, but not be useful for those who have advanced stages of dementia. So these are the strategies for prevention and control of various stages of elderly people and for early dementia. I have divided them into physical health, cognitive health, emotional health, spiritual health. And finally, for later stages of dementia, caregiver support by the family members or professional caregivers and their education is of paramount importance. Now coming to the physical health, the traditional self-health care which everybody knows, not everybody practices though, eating right, exercising well, maintaining body weight, abstinence from alcohol, and no smoking at all. In addition, one should control diabetes if he has, blood pressure should remain under control, heart disease should be under control, and there should be no high cholesterol level. The diet with regard to the physical body, we are talking still of physical health, physical body. So diet, there is something called mind diet. Basically, the diet consists of a vegetarian diet, and if at all meat is required, fish may be useful, not the red meat at all. Fruits and vegetables, particularly the green vegetables and purple vegetables and fruits, because purple color is an antioxidant due to anthocyanin and good for Alzheimer and many other conditions. Then green vegetables and these fruits have lot of vitamins, antioxidants, and then in addition to that, one should use wisely good oils like olive oil, which is used in many Mediterranean countries. So these are the basic principles of mind diet. Good amount of proteins, limited amount of carbohydrates, but you have to take carbohydrates, and good oils, and enough water for drinking, and so on. Then the physical exercises of various kinds. If there is a COVID, one can do even indoor exercise. Otherwise, both indoor and outdoor exercise, and the exercises, if they are carried out in groups, all the more better. As the central cartoon shows, it gives more happiness, and the exercises are divided into aerobic exercises, strengthening exercises, balancing exercises, stretching exercises. I am not going to go into various kinds of details about these four types of exercises, but if necessary, they could be carried out under medical supervision, and one should not let the pulse unduly accelerate because of this exercise. Then we come to the cognitive health, a very important because dementia is basically a disease of cognition. So we ignite our mind, we accelerate our thoughts, and we start challenging our brain. How do we challenge the brain? It is very important to keep our brain stimulated. Do not have the attitude कि अब तो हम एजिड हो गए हैं, अब हमें कुछ नहीं कर सकते, अब हमारे बच्चे सब करेंगे. No, it is a wrong attitude. Challenge the brain and be a super agent. If you don't use the brain, you will lose it. And these are some of the steps that I have enumerated. Accomplish new tasks as you age, like new reading, learning musical instruments, assembling newly purchased gadgets like puzzles, like vacuum cleaner if you are bringing assembled, you deassemble yourself. If you are bringing a pack of furniture assembled, deassemble the furniture because your mind will work then. Befriend your grandchildren, play with them, play puzzles with them, and it will not only keep you happy, but keep your mind active. Play chess, play carom, even playing cards and other indoor games. Use the dominant and non-dominant hand. Particularly knitting is good for ladies because knitting involves both the hands and therefore it stimulates both sides of the brain. Exploring the internet is a very good exercise and do not depend on others, even at the cost of some frustration and disappointment, which is temporary. You yourself continue to surf the internet, open various windows, do the online shopping, pay the utility bills yourself, submit the income tax, property tax return yourself. And if you have to renew your driving license online every 5 years, do it yourself and have fun with puzzles and passwords. Gardening is not only a hobby, but planning a garden, where to keep, how to arrange the flower pots is itself a mind stimulating hobby. Then cut the healthy jokes, have a healthy humor with your friends and relatives, and your brain will work. Imbibing a new language in the old age is also a good brain exercise. There are benefits. It regenerates the brain, improves the memory, improves the cognition, relieves the depression, and enables you to self-care for your other diseases like diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and so on. Third is emotional health. It is basically by social networking, as I have been emphasizing, and by listening to music. Social networking includes social behavior, socializing behavior, a habit of socializing behavior, believing in bonding and genuine friendship, developing relationship of depth, and depending on your relationship with a particular person, even romancing and cuddling. Benefits of social networking are scientifically proven to be equal to obesity reduction and smoking cessation, and it prevents dementia. Music, listening to music, whether to devotional music, whether to yesteryear Bollywood music, it reduces the stress hormone like cortisol and increases the sleep hormone like melatonin and mitigates or improves the following: anxiety, depression, fatigue, mood, emotions, memory, intelligence, sleep, etc. Coming to
Sir,
the fourth
speak little
dimension,
louder, sir, please.
spiritual health. You want me to speak louder? Okay. Are you able to hear me now? Yes?
Sir, yes, yes.
Okay. So spiritual health, there are four dimensions under spiritual health: intrapersonal root, interpersonal root, environmental root, transcendental root. Spiritual health roots, there are four, as I said, and they all work by reducing again the stress hormone cortisol, C-reactive protein, which is an oxidant and inflammatory marker, very harmful. Interleukin 6, again very harmful. And by increasing a good hormone like melatonin for sleep, endorphin for relieving pain and fatigue, and by improving cardiovascular disease, central nervous system, immune, and kidney function. They are all the mediators through which spiritual health works. Intrapersonal is by strengthening spiritual traits like forgiveness, optimism, gratitude, empathy, self-love by procedures like meditation, yoga, pranayama, and various religious practices. Interpersonal, interpersonal is by interacting with others based on in-depth relationship, bonding, and mutual love. I have already alluded to. Environment is by citing visual symbols like religious symbols like Om, cross, and moon or fire. By citing colors and miracles of nature like mountains, water bodies, setting sun and rising sun. by hearing the music already told to you, by touching or cuddling or hugging, by smelling an incense which is full of aroma. And these are all non-cognitive pathways which a demented patient, even in late stage, can enjoy and derive happiness. And finally, the transcendental route by relating yourself with something beyond human, like cosmic force, God, or universe, by a variety of contemplation methods like transcendental meditation, by Vipassana, Zen, Qigong, Tai Chi, etc. There is not always a scientific proof for every of these things. Intuition is something which many people believe. It is also very significant in the life of an individual. The best example of intuition is that 97% of people who pray to God, they believe that their prayers are answered, although they have no proof. This is just intuition, and intuition is important because these have all spiritual benefits and health benefits. Again, my screen is not moving. I don't know what happens. Let me see that. Okay, it's moving now. So now you can see that. Can you see the next slide?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
You can. So this is the next slide. This is the last part of my preventive and controlling dementia. This is caregiver stress and this slide shows that caregiver job is a very burdensome job, very stressful job, and 50% of people who look after the dementia patient day in and day night, they are at great risk of clinical depression. And this is the essence of looking after and caring of a full-blown patient of dementia, for which many of the other preventive measures may not work. And this slide shows the number of hours a caregiver has to spend of his life to look after dementia patient. In a mild dementia patient, a caregiver spends 66 hours in a month. For mild to moderate dementia patient, he has to spend 100 hours. For a moderately severe dementia patient, he has to spend 113 hours to look after such a patient. And for severe dementia, he has to look after 120 hours. So it is a
Sir,
big,
speak loudly.
okay, well, I'm speaking, okay. I think you have to increase your volume. I'm speaking all right. You can try and increasing your own volume. Now we come to the prevention and control of dementia second part. That is the pharmacological management. We have finished
Sir,
with the
speak loudly.
Okay, we have finished with the non-pharmacological management. Now, this is two types of treatment: primary treatment for the primary disease, for the underlying disease. This contains cholinesterase inhibitors, which are donepezil, rivastigmine, galantamine. They have side effects. I'm not going to go into their details and their dosage. The second group of drugs is NMDA receptor, Memantine. The third one is a newly introduced under extraordinary circumstances by the FDA of America as a monoclonal antibody called aducanumab. Very costly drug. Adjuvant medication, there are many. Secondary treatment is for the challenging behavior, for the behavior and personality changes that I have discussed, which are present in 90% of cases. These are to be used, these are to be treated by the drugs only if the preventive management fails, because they are double-edged sword, and these contain antipsychotic, antidepressants, anticonvulsant, benzodiazepine, cognitive enhancers, and a host of miscellaneous agents. And national strategy has been made for India as a plan of action. These are 5 key strategies. prevention, reducing the risk factor or delaying the onset of dementia, early detection, medical care, supportive care, and research. So, in brief, I have highlighted an overall view about the dementia care, and I would like to extend my grateful thanks for your listening, a careful listening, and I'm very sorry for two technical glitches. And I am sorry also, some of you had my voice not very clear in between, but others had clear voice. So thank you very much. And I am now stopping sharing my screen, and I would be very much delighted for an active exchange of ideas. Thank you very much.
Wonderful experience for the wonderful PPT that you shared and presentation that you had, sir. And I would request the participants to please unmute their mics and can ask questions related to the dementia care from sir.
It was
So-
a very wonderful,
so-
very informative presentation. I only want to know from you whether now dementia at present is treatable. Do we have any treatment or it is not? Thank you.
I think your voice is not heard. Your voice is not heard. I think your voice is defective. You have to increase
Please.
your volume, or someone else can explain his question to me.
Sir, he is asking that the dementia is treatable or not.
Well, I have told that the usual form of dementia, which is present in majority of patients, is not treatable. There is no drug which can cure the dementia. It can, at the best, control his behavioral symptoms. It can slightly arrest the progression of the disease, but there is a small class of reversible and treatable dementia which I have named, which are only 5 to 10%. They can be absolutely treated. Thank you. Over to you.
Doctor.
Sir, I have one question. My
Yes.
father is suffering from Alzheimer's since from 4 years. So now he is in the stage that all the things, yes, whatever you have said, that he is forgetting, he is sleeping a lot now, and he is opening his mouth more frequently. And I want some solution for that. Actually, we are looking after him at home. So myself and my mother is taking care of him.
Yes.
So I wanted to know some remedy that he keeps his mouth always open and he sleeps a lot. Is there any remedy, sir?
Well, keeping the mouth open, or some people do is lip smacking. This is because of the defect in temporal lobe, usually I think. But I think as far as the drug is concerned, as far as the particular medicine that you are asking for, I would request you to kindly get in touch with a dementia specialist neurologist doctor.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Sir, I wanted to know for dementia from the Ministry of Health or from the Ministry of Social Defense, any initiatives are taken in the community level, sir? Wanted to know.
Yes, I think dementia is one of the priority areas of the Ministry of Social Justice. And uh, there is a scheme called Integrated Program for Older People. Now it is called Integrated Program for Senior Citizens. So there they do give the grants for the non-government bodies and some government bodies also to run old age homes, dementia care center. So there are initiatives definitely for rehabilitation also. And in addition, last year in 2020, the ministry had asked for certain schemes to be submitted by different organizations. And one of the scheme was an online scheme for dementia care. So I think dementia is very much a part of a initiative of the Ministry of Social Justice.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other?
Hello, sir. I'm Kusha Singh from NISD. I have a doubt. There are people who are saying that they have memory loss problem due to COVID. Is it possible that there is an early onset of dementia due to COVID?
You see, there are two ways to answer this question. Firstly, during the COVID time, senior citizens were holed up inside their houses. They were not having social interaction. They were also not able to go out, talk to people, go to the market, and therefore their brain was relatively unstimulated during this long period of 1.5 years. So it is very likely that their cognitive abilities, including the memory, were blunted as a result of this circumstantial catastrophe, I would say. The second the second probability is that if anybody who actually suffered from the COVID-19 disease and had symptoms of COVID-19 but recovered, there are studies available that people who have recovered from COVID-19, they have finally found out, even after recovery, that they have problems of long-term memory impairment. Whether they are going to pass to dementia slowly over the year is anybody's guess. That is my take on your question. Over to the organizers.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Dr. Saab, is coconut a solution, coconut oil or a coconut usage a solution to dementia?
Yes, yes. So coconut oil has been definitely advocated by some people as an adjuvant therapy, but for the ordinary circumstances, for routine life, coconut oil is not to be preferred over other oils. The other oils which are useful for particularly useful for dementia patients or for preventing dementia is olive oil. And the mustard oil, which is a common household oil, is also quite good. It is cost effective, not very costly, unlike olive oil. But coconut oil as a specific oil for dementia is one of the numerous remedies or preventive remedies for dementia has been described. But I would not put a lot of money on coconut oil because there are so many other things which have come into the literature from time and time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
ऑफ हो गया है विनोद सर, एक बार चेक कर लीजिए।
Yeah.
आपका
Is
video
there any, is there any big question in the chat box?
हाँ सर, अभी आप देख रहे हैं सर।
Well, I do not find I do not find a question in the chat box. Okay. Well, any other comment from anyone? Many of you are very experienced in this field, and maybe you express some use valuable comments.
Yes, participants, if you have any, apart from any question, if you have any feedback also, that also you can share in the chat box link I have shared, but verbally also you can speak about it. Although they have mentioned in the chat box that this is very informative presentation, and they are very happy to hear you, Dr. Vinod, after a long time also, and thank you for this wonderful session. So if they want to speak, they can unmute their mics and can tell to everyone about it.
Dr. Saab, you said that the present number is about 5 million But sir, there are so many dementia patients who are not sort of anyway being counted or being recorded. So the numbers may be much, much higher in the society, but we don't know exactly, isn't it?
Well, I think you have raised a very pertinent point and you are absolutely right. The 5 million are the recorded people, and I might share one information with all of you is that only 10% of dementia patients are diagnosed. 90% remain hidden.
My God,
So,
my
so
God.
you can imagine how many more patients with cognitive impairment, and there may even be many more, much more than dementia patients. There may be many more with mild cognitive impairment, and they are ready to develop and progress gradually into dementia. On an average, about 10 to 15% of mild cognitive impairment persons progress to dementia. So it is an enormous problem, and this epidemic is round the corner, and we have to do something about it. And that was the reason I went outside the domain of my medical interest and went about talking of extra medical steps that one may start taking so that in times to come, in future to come, our elderly people remain fit, active, and mentally agile, and therefore productive to nation building. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor.
Sir, your session was very informative and we have understood what are the problems we have to face actually as we are looking after the patient. But I wanted to know that as they are having so many problems, they are unable to go to the clinics. Is there any doctors who can visit the house and they can take care of the patients like that?
Very important question, and I'm very happy to answer this question. Yes, you are right. Firstly, when somebody has started with these problems, the family members very often think that it is just because of aging. And they just say that there is nothing wrong. We wait and wait and wait, nothing happens. And in the olden days they used to say कुछ नहीं हुआ, ये हमारे पिताजी थोड़े से सठिया गए हैं और कोई बात नहीं. And now they are not using this term in the polished atmosphere of modern times, but they still ignore for a long time. They do not escort their people to a proper doctor. And to reach a proper doctor is also difficult. If they take him to a family physician, many family physicians may not be able to recognize, may not be sensitive to refer to a specialist. So to tide over these problems, I am very happy to say that there is a society in our country which is called Alzheimer's and Related Disorders Society of India. This society has many, many chapters across the country in different states. And these chapters are busy in spreading awareness, in volunteering, in caring for people of dementia at their own homes, counseling the relatives, and supplying medicines, manning the helplines, and running the memory clinics. So it is a matter of time when such awareness can go on. And if anybody Googles today or goes to the internet, you will find all these valuable resources where you can find help for your dear and near ones. That is my response to your very valuable question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Actually, I am from the state of Karnataka, where I am not finding the doctors who can come home and they can look after the patients like that. So that's why I asked you, sir.
Well, I can just answer you further. In Bangalore is a great hub for curing the dementia, but I am actually both surprised as well as I am receiving with with positive thought that you are not aware of it, because many people are not aware of it. In Bangalore, we have a chapter of ARDSI, that is Alzheimer's Society. We have a very, very old and useful chapter. And there is a trust called Nightingale's Trust. Nightingale's Trust has, its primary objective is to caring for dementia patients at all stages. So you can just Google Nightingale's Trust, or you can Google the ARDSI chapter Bangalore, and you will find all the plethora of information, and you can lead your father or whosoever you are talking about to these centers. And I'm very happy that I've been able to share this information for your valuable question. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for the information. Thank you very much.
Any more feedback or any more questions? I will be delighted to be a part of this exchange of ideas.
Good afternoon. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, rather, sir. This is Naveen Tiwari. In fact, I just wanted to share with you. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Actually, this was my first, attendance on dementia, and as a whole, I found the session to be highly informative, and particularly because I am a big, this was the first session for me, so it was very informative, and I don't think I can ask for more. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing your valuable time and making us learn. At least I have learned a lot in this first session I have attended. Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm very grateful for your comments, and I wish more and more people who are not sensitive to this kind of a melody, more and more people may attend such exercises in future for the first time, and more and repeated time from different speakers, you will get even better ideas. Thank you, Naveen ji. Thank you very much.
It's been my pleasure to attend, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, I have a request that Vishnu Priya, I saw a number of participants from that camera. Is it so? वहाँ से बहुत सारे लोगों ने join किया है क्या?
Well, when I open the participants list, I do know the list, and there are 82.
It was more than that. मतलब above 95 we had, but I saw that at Vishnu Priya Balasana, there are a number of people who were sitting from one camera and they were listening to lecture.
Well, 92 is a very good number, but I wish that as you will be putting it in the social media, YouTube, etc., I think many more people can see.
There on the YouTube channel of NIST and the Facebook page of NIST, sir. I saw that from one camera, people were sitting in the queue. Vishnu Priya.
Asha ji, do you have any question or any further feedback?
Any other participant has any question? I saw Sushma Batra ma'am also joined in and she was talking. So I do not know whether she wanted to ask the question or she was talking to someone else.
I think she was muted at that time.
Please, sir, that's the reason because I saw her. Sushma Batra ma'am.
Yes, but you are muted, madam. Sushma Batra ji, you are muted.
Ma'am, please unmute कीजिए mic अपना.
सुषमा जी, प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ।
मैम अनम्यूट ही है, अनम्यूट ही है, बट उनकी आवाज नहीं आ पा रही है हम पर। मैम आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है, सुषमा मैम
अब आ रही है. Now is it audible? You know, I was using my earphones. I didn't realize. Sir, I was just going to say that what I have seen in my life, meaning I have been very, very fond of you, attended all your conferences. Just now I put on my video also so that you could see and remember me. I was attending all your conferences and used to come only to listen to your lecture, and you have been actually my role model in this field. So I just wanted to give one very small suggestion that, you know, if we have a very active life schedule in which we have a daily routine and we look forward to what activity next during the day, we don't get bored. Like, you know, I get 11:30 कब बजेंगे. I always keep on looking के NISD का lecture कब होगा, when can I attend. So these are the things, when you look forward, you can keep your dementia little away and you remain active. Yes, if by God forbids, if something has to happen, then it will happen. But otherwise, I feel that walking, these are the small things which if we all elderly do, and don't think that it is the end or sandhya ho gayi or sham ho gayi zindagi ki, then I think it is always better for us. It was very, very rejuvenating listening to you with the PowerPoint slides. And I was remembering कि सर तो अब भी वैसे ही पढ़ाते हैं. So this is all kind of mind working and everything remains all right with me. So that's what I was going to suggest, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was very enlightening, at least for me.
सुषमा जी, आपने जो कहा है वो ही एसेंस है मेरे लेक्चर का। आपने उसको बहुत अच्छी तरह से ये क्रिस्टलाइज करके मैसेज दिया है, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत आपका धन्यवाद। लेकिन मैं एक लाइटर वेन में ये कहना चाहूँगा कि मुझे आपके बारे में याद नहीं आ रहा है, तो मुझे डर लग रहा है कि मुझे खुद तो अल्जाइमर क्यों हो गया। तो मुझे जरा आप ये बताइए कि आप अपना इंट्रोडक्शन क्या है, जरा सा बता दीजिए मुझे।
सर, मैं दिल्ली स्कूल ऑफ सोशल वर्क में तब लेक्चरर थी, फिर रीडर बनी, फिर प्रोफेसर बनी. आपके पास जब मैं आती थी तब रीडर थी, और आप एजिंग की कॉन्फ्रेंसेस की आप कॉन्फ्रेंस करा करते थे, और उसके अंदर आप मुझे इनवाइट जरूर भेजते थे. यू वर फॉन्ड ऑफ मी, और कॉन्फ्रेंस में से आप चुनते थे कि सुषमा कहाँ है, तो आप आकर के मुझसे बात भी किया करते थे. एंड दैट वाज वेरी एनकरेजिंग फॉर अस. इसी तरह शायद आप सब पार्टिसिपेंट्स को पूछते थे और पार्टिसिपेंट्स बहुत खुश होते थे. सर,
चलिए, बहुत बहुत आपका धन्यवाद। और मेरी खुशकिस्मती है कि मैं आप जैसे बहुत से लोगों के बीच अपनी जीवन भर जुड़ा रहा हूं और मुझे उसी से ऊर्जा बनती है। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू सो मच, सर.
सर हमने काफी समय ले लिया आपका, और अगर किसी और का भी कोई सवाल है तो वो अनम्यूट करके सर को पूछ सकते हैं, नहीं तो हम इस सेशन को यहीं खत्म भी कर सकते हैं, जैसा आप लोग बोले.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, this is Hemchand from NISD. I am a student here, and we are just listening to you. That was a wonderful webinar. I just want to announce that the NISD has announced online course on dementia. And the next session will start in November, on November 15. So if anybody wants to go through the dementia, short-term dementia course, then anybody can join that, and that is free of cost. Thank you so much, sir.
गुड गुड। और आज तो ICMR भी कुछ 11 बजे कोई टूल है डिमेंशिया का, वो रिलीज कर रहा था, 11 बजे हो गया होगा उनका। अब डिमेंशिया जो है, डिमेंशिया पे बहुत फोकस हो रहा है, क्योंकि ये जो है एमर्जिंग एपिडेमिक है, और हमारे जो सीनियर सिटीजन हैं वो बहुत लोगों का रिएक्शन, अटेंशन, मेमोरी अफेक्ट हो रही है, बहुत सारे उसके कारण हैं। तो हमें ऐसा लगता है कि इन चीज़ों को रोकथाम के लिए हमें काफ़ी अवेयरनेस लानी पड़ेगी, मासेस को एजुकेट करना पड़ेगा। और ये सिर्फ सीनियर सिटीजन्स बनने के बाद ही नहीं, ये तो यंग एज से ही सबको जागरूकता होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ये सारा जो एक्सरसाइजेज हैं ये वर्क ऑफ ए लाइफ टाइम है, बट इट इज नेवर लेट टू बिगिन, बट अर्लियर इट इज बिगन द बेटर इट इज फॉर एन इंडिविजुअल। और ये सिर्फ डिमेंशिया को अप्लाई नहीं होता, ये और भी एज रिलेटेड बीमारियों को अप्लाई होता है, डायबिटीज है, हाई ब्लड प्रेशर है, और सारी बीमारियां हैं वो, उन सब के लिए हमें लाइफस्टाइल, अपना एनवायरनमेंट, अपने फूड की हैबिट, अपनी एक्सरसाइज, अपनी मेंटल स्टिमुलेशन, अपनी माइंड की जो रिलेटेड एक्टिविटीज हैं, चाहे वो इमोशंस हो, चाहे स्पिरिचुअलिटी हो, चाहे सोशल नेटवर्किंग हो, वो सारे हमें ऑब्जर्व करने ही चाहिए।
सर बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका कि आपने इतने छोटे से शब्दों के अंदर पूरी डिमेंशिया कहाँ से शुरू है, कहाँ खत्म है, वो सब बिल्कुल ही बता दिया। क्योंकि अगर अर्ली एज में, हम यंग एज में ही इन सब चीज़ों के ऊपर काम करना शुरू कर दें तो शायद वहाँ तक ना पहुँचे, और इसको प्रिवेंशन हमें शुरुआत से ही करनी रहे। बहुत ही संक्षिप्त शब्दों में सर आपने इस डिमेंशिया केयर के टॉपिक को एंड कर दिया है। थैंक यू सो मच सर। On behalf of Senior Citizen Division of National Institute of Social Defense, we would like to extend, I would like to extend my gratitude that you took time from your busy schedule and you took a session for all of us. So thank you so much, sir. It was a positive information, wonderful approach towards it, and your expertization in this subject is like very, very helpful to all the person who has joined today, including me also, sir. So we are also thankful to all our dear participants जिन्होंने अपना बहुत ही कीमती समय निकाल के हम लोगों के साथ में ज्वाइन किया समय पे, और हम समय पे इन सब चीजों को कर पाए। आप सभी लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Asha ji. Thank you very much again for inviting me and be a part of this exercise and exchange the ideas with so many participants who are very, very valuable and respectable to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Very, very thanks.